Hello everybody, we're going to be doing a recap of the 2022 Eastern Semi-Final between the Hamilton Tiger Cats and the Montreal Alouettes. Now before we start, please make sure to subscribe to my channel if you're new to the CFL, or if you are already interested in the CFL and you want to, just watch my videos, whatever the case may be. Anyway, let's talk about this game. And going into this game, I really was thinking that Hamilton would win this. Montreal had to come back in 2 of the 3 games to win those 2 games out of the 3-game series during the regular season. So my thought process was, well, if Hamilton is able to get a lead or not have issues with turnovers, they're probably going to be okay. And that really wasn't the case. I already did a recap of this, but I realized that I did not like this, so we're going to just start over, and I'm not going to go, like a summary. I think I'm just going to do my thoughts from the game. Starting out right away, Montreal, very good, very quick start here, getting a touchdown pass to Jake Wieneke, getting an early lead. Next thing you know, with Davis, they get a 14-3 lead. This is where you start to feel like, what is happening? And I think one of the big takeaways after that first quarter was, outside of Tim White, the ball is not getting moved for the Tabbies. I know that they only ran the ball, I think, one time in the first quarter, and White accounted for almost 100% of their offense through that first quarter. But this was where I think Hamilton kind of just really lost the game, was that first quarter and then kind of going into that second quarter there. That is going into that first half, that second half, I should say, down 22-6, where they really just got lost. They couldn't run the ball effectively at points, and they kind of had to abandon the run at other points. And this is at that point where Montreal probably looks like they're going to win that game. And I think one thing that they did really well and that they were effective in is they didn't do what I thought they would do. And I was actually thinking that it would work well for them was to use William Stanback, but instead of using him either for the starting role or just kind of whatever means they thought they would, they used Walt Fletcher, and it worked really well for them because I don't think Stanback really is fully healthy at the moment, but they used Fletcher, and Fletcher has been able to provide for them through this game. Also, I'd like to add in the third quarter, this is kind of where I feel like Montreal just really took their foot off the gas, and this is kind of how Hamilton was able to get back into this. At some point in this game, I can't remember if it was in the third quarter or the fourth, Schultz was able to come in. Of course, he came in right when I looked away. I did watch the majority of this game, almost all of it. I think it was in the third. Schultz was able to come in and make Dane Evans look like he shouldn't be the starter, which is a problem we're going to talk about at the end of this video. For Schultz, I think that Montreal did kind of have that foot off the gas mentality, and he was able to take advantage of that. But at the same time, I will say at this point, Schultz, in my opinion, is a better quarterback than Dane Evans just at the moment. But Montreal managed to not choke this one away. I really thought they were going to. At the end of this game, I would say the difference makers in this were the fact that they were really good on second down, the fact that, especially through the first probably half, maybe even 3 quarters, Trevor Harris really could not miss. I know he had that interception, but that was off of Jake's hand. It was thrown a little bit behind him, I'll give him that, but not a bad game at all by him. I thought the offense was very clean, trying to get different looks. Yes, they had some screens, but they also had different looks within that screen look. A lot of times when you send your running back out there on a screen, you're just really lazy as an offense, and you just say, well, we'll get it off to him and do what we can. But Montreal was able to pull in the defensive line because they got to go sideways. You got to get horizontal if you're a defensive lineman. If you've ever played defensive line, if those offensive linemen are pulling out, you know that something's going on. Also, I think they sucked in the linebackers, which is something that worked really well because they were able to get small gains on other throws during those, those halfback screens. But on top of that, they were able to just find good throws. Geno Lewis looked really good, and he was able to get a lot of sideline catches, or at least one big sideline catch that I thought was good, whereas the defense was able to get some turnovers when needed and able to get sacks. I really felt like Dane Evans was not comfortable in this game. I think for him, mobility is a bigger issue compared to Schultz, and I wonder if he was kind of feeling like the pocket was collapsing on him all day. Seemed like he tried to break outside of his tackles whenever he had the ball, and it was a longer play because I think for him, he knew that if he stayed in the pocket that he wasn't going to have enough space to throw. He might not have been able to see very well, and that was kind of the difference maker here. Will Evans be the starter after this season? Tough to say, probably because he has the money and the contract, so I could see that being something that works in his favor compared to Schultz. But Montreal did a very good job in this game offensively, showing that other guys besides Geno Lewis could provide for them. Fletcher looked very good in this game. I know that a lot of it was from those big plays, but those big plays were important because Hamilton was starting to come back. He had a touchdown late in this game that really sealed the deal. And then you saw Stanback, of course, get some carries towards the end of the game as well. A guy that they probably wanted a more experienced running back with the ball in his hands, try to kill the clock. But I'd have to say, I love this game from Montreal in the perspective of what they did right. I do think that they have to make sure that they can keep that mentality of putting pressure on opponents and not letting off. I'd also like to see them try to, really get Jake going into the Eastern Final next game. But I'm very excited for the Owls' first playoff win since 2014. Has to feel great for a Montreal fan. I know that it has got a little bit more popular there. Crowds have started to get a little bit better since the teams got better after they had some bad years. So I'm hoping moments like this, where they're able to get to the Eastern Final, can be a boost for them in attendance. And I'm also hoping for Hamilton that they realize if Schultz should be the starter, they have to pull that trigger and they have to do something about that, because I'm a guy that doesn't feel like players should get to play because of what they're paid. And the sense of, if Evans is that bad next year, I don't care what he's making. You cannot have him holding back the team. I'm not going to say it's all on him because, again, I do think you have to have a very good offensive line that the pocket doesn't collapse when it's a quarterback like him that struggles with mobility. But we will see. So for Montreal, they will go on to play the Toronto Argonauts at BMO Field this Sunday, I want to say. And then Hamilton, their season is over, the first time since 2018 that they haven't made it to the Eastern Final, maybe 2017. Anyway, let me know your thoughts for this game down below in the comments. Also, please make sure to like this video if you enjoyed it. Subscribe if you're new. Everybody stay safe and have a great night.